So in today's session, we are going to learn about the unary and binary operator overloading. And then we are going to see the problem statement for the experiment. So what is binary operator? Okay, the binary operators take two arguments. It will take two operands. For example, plus is a binary operator and it will take two operands. Here it is A plus B, or you can say 5 plus 3. It is called as binary operator. Why it is called as binary operator? Because it will require two operands. This is the first operand and this is the second operand. That's why it is called as binary operator. So you are familiar with this concept. Plus is a binary operator, subtraction, division, multiplication, and so on. All these are called as binary operators. What is unary operator? They are operators that act upon a single operand to produce a new value. These unary operators requires a single operand. Keep in mind, it requires a single operand. That's why it is called as unary operator. That's why it is called as unary operator. These are the types of unary operators: minus, increment, plus plus, decrement, minus minus, then not operator, address of operator. It is again a unary operator, and size of operator. All these are the examples of unary operator, and all these operators require a single operand. Requires a single operand. That's why it is these operators are called as unary operators. So we are going to learn it one by one. For example, unary minus. What it does, the minus operator changes the sign of its argument. A positive number becomes negative and negative number becomes positive. This is the operation of unary minus operator. Integer a is equal to 10, and if you have mentioned integer b is equal to minus a, here it is minus operator is there and a is a single operand is there. What it does, it will change the sign of value present in a. So b will consist minus 10. B will consist minus 10. Unary minus is different from subtraction operator. Keep in mind, as subtraction requires two operands, it is different from your subtraction operator. Next is increment operator. It is used to increment the value of variable by 1. The increment can be done in two ways. Prefix increment. First way is the prefix increment. In this method, the operator precedes the operand. The operator precedes the operand. For example, this is the way. Plus plus a. It is called as this plus plus precedes the operand a. The value of the operand will be altered before it is used. The value of the operand will be altered before it is used. Just see with the help of example. Here it is, integer a is equal to 1. And if you mention integer b is equal to plus plus a, then what will be the content of b? The content of b will be 2. What this prefix increment will do, first of all, it will increment the value of a by 1, and then it will be initialized to B. So B will consist value 2. Next is postfix increment. Again, see with the help of example how it will work. In this method, the operator follows the operand. Okay, after the operand, you will get the operator, that is A++. The value operand will be altered after it is used. Just see with the help of example so that you will get the clear idea. Integer A is equal to 1. And if you mention integer B is equal to A++, then what will happen over here? Value of A will be initialized to B, and then value of A will be incremented. That is, this B will consist the value 1. B will consist the value 1. Similarly, if you initialize A variable to C, the value of A is incremented over here, the C will consist value 2. C will consist the value 2. Decrement operator. It is used to decrement the value of variable by 1. The increment can be done in 2 ways. First is prefix decrement. In this method, the operator precedes the operand, that is minus minus A, and the value of the operand will be altered before it is used. Just see with the help of example here, integer A is equal to 1 and integer B is equal to minus minus A. What will happen over here? It will first decrement the value of A by 1. Now value of A is 1. After decrementing, the value of A will be 0, and this 0 value will be initialized to B, and now B will consist value 0. Similarly, for prefix decrement, so in this, operator follows the operand, that is A minus minus. The value of the operand will be altered after it is used. Just see with the help of example, integer A is equal to 1, and if you say B is equal to A minus minus, the value of A, that is 1, will be initialized to B, and then it is decremented. So B will consist 1. And if you assign value of A to C, A will consist 0 and it is initialized to C, that is C will consist 0 value. Next is NOT operator. It is used to reverse the logical state of its operand. If condition is true, then logical NOT operator will make it false. If X is true, then not X is false. If X is false, then not X is true. This is the use of NOT operator. It will just change the state of the operator. If it is true, it becomes false, and if it is false, it becomes true. Next is address of operator. This is the ampersand. It gives an address of variable. It is used to return the memory address of variable. These addresses written by the address operator are known as pointer because they point to the variable in memory that we have seen in the last lecture. Address gives an address on a variable n. So suppose integer A, and you mention pointer variable integer star ptr, and if you mention ptr is equal to address of A, the address of A is copied to the location ptr, and this is the use of this address of operator. And look at this address of operator, it will consist only one operand. That's why it is called as unary operator. Address of A is operand, and it will Address of operator requires only one operand. That's why it is of type unary operator. Next is size of operator. It looks like a function, but it is considered as one operator in C++. This operator returns the size of its operand. It is in the bytes. The size of operator always precedes its operand, and the operator is an expression, or it may be a cast. Just see with the help of code. So here it is. In the program, we have declared one float variable, float n is equal to 0, and we have used cout size of n, and we have printed size of n. This is the operator size of, and you have to pass only name of the variable of which you want the size. It will calculate the size of that particular variable. And size of n is printed by using this statement. So size of n will be 4 bytes. Okay, because float n is equal to float will store requires 4 bytes, and size of n will be printed 4 bytes. So this is the use of size of operator. So in C++, the meaning of existing operator can be extended to operate on user-defined data type, user-defined data, or class data. In C++, meaning of existing operator can be extended to operate on the user-defined data or class data. So C++ has the ability to prove the operators with the special meaning of data type. So the mechanism of adding special meaning an operator is called the operator overloading. What is operator overloading? Adding a special meaning to the existing operator is called as operator overloading. So why do we need operator overloading in C++? Operators in C++ like plus, minus, multiplication, division can operate in data types like integer, float, double, etc. as predefined operational meanings. But these operators can't operate in user-defined data types. User-defined data types like objects without existing extension or adding some sort of code to alter their operational meaning. To do this, we need to have operator overloading. Such a way of extending the operational functionality of certain operators in C++ is called operator overloading. So to add a special meaning to the operators, it is done with the help of operator overloading. So this is the syntax for operator overloading. You have to mention the return type. We have already covered that, but still I am repeating this. Return type, and then you have to mention the operator keyword, and you have to write the symbol of the operator. And then if you want to pass argument list, you can pass. Open the curly bracket, write the body of the function, and then close the operator overloading function. So this is the way to write the operator overloading function. Again, I am repeating, it will consist the return type, then operator keyword, then symbol, and then argument list. Open the curly bracket and close it, and you mention the logic that you want to perform on that particular operator. To extend the meaning of the operator, an operator function is defined with the keyword operator followed by the operator symbol. We will see this with the help of example so that you will have better idea. So operator overloading in C++ can be achieved in following ways. Operator overloading using member function, operator overloading using non-member function, and operator overloading using friend function. So these are the ways you can achieve operator overloading. So following are the operators that cannot be overloaded. Keep in mind these operators you can't overload, and this will be asked at the time of oral and interview, which operators you can't overload in C++. Already I have covered this, but still I am repeating this. Pointer to member access operator dot star, scope resolution operator double colon, member access operator dot, conditional operator question mark and colon, size of operator, this is the operator but it will look like function, runtime type information operator type ID. So these are all are you can't overload. Which operators you can overload? Following is the list of overloaded operators. So category is arithmetic. You can overload plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus operator. Bitwise operators and or not, XOR, left shift, right shift operators you can overload. Bitwise assignments, not equal to, and equal to, or equal to, XOR equal to, left shift, right shift equal to. These assignments you can overload. Relational operators, less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to. Logical, or, and, not. Assignment you can overload. Arithmetic assignments you can overload. Minus equal to, plus equal to. Unary operators you can overload. Plus, plus, minus, minus. Subscript, subscripting, difference, that is star. Function call operator you can overload. Address of operator you can overload. Member access through pointer, arrow and star you can overload. Member access through object pointer, that is arrow, you can overload. And dynamic memory allocation and release, that is new, delete, new and delete with the square brackets you can overload. So all these operators you can overload in C++. The next is unary operator overloading. As the name suggests, unary operator operates on a single operand or data. So I will explain this with the help of program so that you will understand how to overload this unary operator. We have completed this, but still I am repeating this because you need to understand how to overload the unary operator and how to overload the binary operator. So is this visible? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So this is our class. Name of the class is check account, check count, and there are two variables, count plus and count minus. And in the check count constructor, we have it initialize it to 0 and minus to 2. Count minus is to 2. And this is the way to load operator, plus plus operator. This is the return type, operator keyword. This is the symbol plus plus and in bracket. There will not be any argument, and then inside it I have just counted this count plus variable. Similarly, I have written the function void operator, and this is the operator symbol, that is minus minus. And then I have mentioned one statement, I have just decremented the count minus. So this is the way to overload the unary operator. Now how to call these unary operators? Just inside the main, I have just created two objects of check count class, x and y. And in the count, say out x dot count plus and y dot count plus. It will print the before increment decrement values. And then X is an object and you applied plus plus operator over here. The compiler automatically come to know that operand is 1 and you are applying plus plus and it's a type of object. It will look for the operator overloaded function. The compiler will find the operator overloaded function is present over here and it will call that and it will invoke that particular function. So here it is, it will increment the value of count plus by 1 and in y minus minus again it will call this operator overloaded function and it will count the value of count minus by 1. And then I have printed over here after increment decrement the value after increment decrement x dot count plus and x y dot count plus count minus, and just see the output of the code. So this is the output of the code. Originally the value of x is 0 and y is equal to, and after increment we have just incremented value of x by 1, it becomes 1, and we have incremented value of y by 1, y by 1, it becomes 1. So this is how you have to make use of unary operator. Again I am repeating this. In the check count class we have constructor, just we have two variables count plus and count minus, initialized is to 0 and 2 respectively. This is our operator overloaded function plus plus, and this is our second operator overloaded function minus minus. And how to call this? Just you have to say plus plus x minus minus. Automatically at this stage this constructor, this method will be invoked, and when you say minus minus y, this function will be invoked and you will get the output, that is x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 2, and after increment decrement x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1. So this is called as unary operator. That we have already learned in the last lecture. Still I have repeated this. Now next is binary operator overloading. That is the aim of today's session. As the name suggests, those operators which operate on two operands or data are called as binary operators, that we have seen. We are going to see this with the help of example. So again I am repeating, binary operator requires two operands. For example, a plus b plus is the binary operator and it requires, this is our first operand and this is our second operand. Just remember the basic concept so that you will understand how to do the binary operator overloading. Now just see this code. Is this code visible?
Yes.
Okay. So this is our class box. Inside we have three variables: length, breadth, and height. Get volume will calculate the volume of the box, and set length will set the length, set breadth will set the breadth, set height will set the height. And this is the way to load the plus operator. This is the return type, that is box. Name of the, this is the operator symbol, operator keyword, and this is the operator symbol. And we want to pass a constant box address of B. Okay, we have just passed it by reference and it will be hold at the B object. And what we have written over here, we have just added the length and breadth and height of the two boxes and we will return the value. Just see, box we have created one temporary object over here, box, small box, and this box dot length is equal to this length plus b dot length. Okay, this length plus b dot length. Then box dot breadth is equal to this breadth plus b dot breadth, and box dot height is equal to this arrow height plus b dot height. So it will do the addition of all these three variables, and it will be kept in the box variable, and that variable will be written by this operator overloaded method. And the return type of this box is written over here, that is box. So this is the way to do the binary operator overloading. Now in the main, we have created three objects, box 1, 2, and 3. And then we have just initialized this volume to 0, and we have set the length, breadth, height for box 1, 2, box 1 and 2 to some values. Here it is length is 6, breadth is 7, height is 5. Here it is length is 12, breadth is 13, height is 10. And now volume is equal to b1 dot get volume. We'll get the volume of box b1. Volume is equal to box b2 dot get volume. Will print the volume of box 2. And here it is what we done. We have done addition of two boxes, box 1 plus box 2. These are the two objects, and you have operated plus operator on it. So compiler simply looks for whether have you done any operator overloading method inside the class. If it is yes, it will invoke that. Yes, it is already mentioned over here. Box operator plus constant box b. So in this, the box 1 and box 2 will be passed over here, and then it will do the addition of this, and it will be stored in the box variable, and it will be returned, and that return box object will be initialized to this box 3. And then you can calculate volume is equal to box 3 dot get volume. You will get the volume of box 3, and it will be printed over here. Just see the output. Here it is. Volume of box 1 is 210. Volume of box 2 is 1560, and volume of box 3 is 5400. So just at the box number 3, what we done here, we have just added the value of box 1 and box 2. We have just added the values of box 1 and box 2. And when you invoke, compiler will come to this statement, it will invoke this operator overloaded function. And this is called as binary operator overloading. Again, I am repeating, this is the return type, this is the operator keyword, this is the symbol, operator symbol, this is the argument list, box address of b, and then box dot length is equal to this length, that is first box length, plus b dot length, that is second box length. An addition of this will be stored in the box, in this box dot length. Similarly, this arrow breadth plus this is the first box breadth, and this is the second box breadth. It will be added, and it will be stored in the box dot breadth. Similarly, for this arrow height plus b dot height, this is the first box height, and this is our second box height, and it will be stored in the box dot height. At the end, just we have written this object because our return type is box, and it will be initialized to this box 3. And just we have printed the volume. This get volume function is already declared over here. It will just calculate the volume of the box, and you will get this out. This is the output of the code. This is the output of the